Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Welcome to Donington Park, the circuit where, as far as World Superbike is concerned, it all began in 1988. The circuit was built in 1931. It was modified to its current state in 2010. And as you can see from the pictures here, as the Yamaha R3 BLU CRU World Cup riders make their way out on their sighting lap, it is a beautiful day here in the United Kingdom. My name is Michael Hill, as ever, guiding you through what will be the third round of this 2026 championship that is currently being led by 21 points by the rider from the Dominican Republic, Charlie Mendez. He holds that advantage courtesy of 3 podium finishes, a second place and a win in the opening round at Donington Park, followed up by an 8th place finish and a win again in the most recent race at Motorland Aragon. Bocanegra doing a good job this season, 57 points on the board from him. He has a very distinctive Brazilian helmet, which will help us out to spot him. And of course, we also talk about the third place rider, Emanuele Pastore, who has taken his second pole position. 1 pole position last year, 1 pole position yesterday. A very, very strong and notable improvement based on last year. This is a fantastic championship. It began back in 2021. The first ever champion was Iker Garcia from Spain. Brazil took victory with Enzo Valentim in 2022, before it was Italy's turn in 2023, thanks to Emiliano Ercolani. Spain were victorious for the second time in 2024, Mark Veach taking the win. And then last year, it was a dominant performance by the Italian Alessandro De Persio, who still holds the record of the most number of wins. This is how the grid then will line up for what will be race number 5 in the championship. Emanuele Pastore on the front row, Mendez the championship leader on row 2. Keep your eyes out on Richie Takahira and Mauro Gomez racing here for the first time. Very, very strong was Mauro, the number 7 in the Spanish championship last year. Danny Krabacher from Austria, Nathan Bettencourt. 2 British riders for the local fans to get behind, Charlie Huntingford and Greg Marshall, Federico Gramares, Salvatore Germano and Heiter Santana on the back of the grid. But as you can see, very, very close. We've actually had already 22 riders have scored points this season out of the 23. It is one of the most competitive championships that we have. Since it began back in 2021, we've had 24 different individual winners, and we've had 3 winners out of the first 4 races this season. Eamon Bocanegra taking the win in the opening round of the championship. Mendez, as I said, winning a race in each of the opening 2 races, and the only other rider to win a race so far is the rider that starts from pole position, Emanuele Pastore. So they go then on the warm-up lap. It will be a 10-lap race. A couple of riders, in fact a number of riders, coming back for their second attempt at this championship. 23 riders on the grid, 11 different nationalities, 11 returning riders as well. The top 4 from last year have all moved on to Pastures U, and if we start looking down that list, that incredible list of talent that has come through this series since 2021, the most notable will be Aldi Mahendra. Mahendra now riding for the AS Yamaha team alongside Albert Arenas in World Supersport, became a winner in this championship, became the first Indonesian to win in Supersport 300, and then of course the first Indonesian to finish on the podium in the World Supersport Championship. So it just shows you what kind of roadway, what kind of pathway this championship, thanks to Yamaha, the FIM, and of course everybody involved in the series, has given these riders. Now, if you've never seen the R3 Cup racing before, my goodness me, you're in for a treat. And if I look over my shoulder here, there's quite a sizable crowd in the sun-baked paddock in front of the paddock show. And for all of these riders now, as they come through the Fogarty S's, the Subaru safety car just in the back of the picture, the final few moments as we get ready to go racing. Pastore on pole position, Marquez and Motola, 2 Italians and a Brazilian. Second row then, the championship leader in 4th place, Charlie Mendez. Renato Okada, the number 21. He's having a good season, starting in 5th position. And he's currently 12th in the championship, a podium in 3rd place last time out. There's the championship as it stands then. Mendez, Bocanegra, Pastore, Takahira and Binder. And also keep your eyes out, second row of the grid, Chris Clark, the winner of the opening race last year. Best qualifying of the season for him. Takahira and Boccanegra, as I said, who is second in the championship, back on row number 3. This is the grid then for race number 1. The grid positions will be determined by lap time for race number 2. We'll talk about that tomorrow in the build-up, but for now, get yourselves ready. Make sure you're following us on our social channels, YamahaRacing.com, and make sure you are following us at World SBK. The red flag will move to the side of the track, and for the 5th time this season, championship can't be won today or tomorrow, but it can be lost. Points make prizes. Pastore looking for a second win. Mendes looking to consolidate the championship lead, and Mottala, who's had only one podium in his career, looking for his first victory. The lights are on, the lights are out, and we are racing at Donington Park, and it looks like a very clean start from everybody. Looks like it is the number 5 going to the inside. Mendes too has had a good side. There's a bit of a lunge there on the inside. Do they all safely make it through? Just hold your breath. We've had carnage at a couple of corners this year, but they do all make it through. And it looks like it is Leo Marquez down the Hollywood section into the Cremona curves, and 3 abreast already. Goodness me, you'd think that they were already on the last lap as they now come down into the old hairpin, and there's another overtake. I would attempt to actually say what positions have changed, but before I can even say what I'm about to think I'm going to say, the positions have changed anyway. But it's Takahira that is leading. Solid start then from the Japanese rider. A good start from Chris Clark, who gets his elbows out up in towards McLean's corner. Again, the leading 2 already getting their elbows out. A little bit further back then, Takamoto Betancourt, the rider from America, also racing in the Talent Cup over there in Moto America. Very different motorcycles. The 2 Portuguese riders at the back, but this whole pack is still together. Somebody's on the dirt on the inside of Coppi's corner. Down the back straight we go then. Do not be surprised to see 5 or 6 abreast into the braking zone. Clark is always very aggressive on the brakes. Can he make it through there? Don't touch the green, and it's now the number 6. That's Charlie Mendes, the championship leader, coming through from 4th on the grid and into the lead. So we've had about 5 or 6 different overtakes. Make that 7, 8 or 9 as the rider comes really, really late there. He pushes them all wide. Clark goes back through, Boccanegra goes through, and Indy Schunselaar, keep your eyes on him, the number 27. Just recognise him in the back of the picture. The rider that has the most starts of anybody on this grid. He's had 26 by memory. As again, they come through Goddard's, and that's lap 1 completed as Clark gets pushed onto the grass then by the number 80, Riichi Takahira. A very aggressive rider. Look how close they are then, down in towards turn 1. Who's going to be the latest? It's going to be Clark, but Clark is outdone by Mendes, who now goes back into the lead. Feel sorry for the poor guy or girl that's got to do the timing graphics on the left-hand side here, because it's changing very, very quickly. You can't go 2 abreast down Cremona curves. Nobody's told the R3 Blue Crop riders they're 5 abreast through the Cremona curves. Brilliant racing here, and it's Clark that leads. No, it's not, it's Mendes. Mendes goes back through on the inside. It's an aggressive start by all of these leading group. The pace is so quick, and already they're touching each other in towards McLean's and Cremona curves. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abreast in towards goal. Hold your breath. And who is that? The number 23 that has now come to join the party, and that is Eamon Boccanegra. On the inside, then it's blind into there. Nice little move that from Clark. He's got Mendes for company. Marquez, though, doing a good job here. Again on the inside, and it was Marquez that touched the green on the inside of the corner. You won't get a penalty for that as they come down in towards the braking zone once more. It's getting very, very tight there as Boccanegra tries to go through, and he does. And that's brought the whole group back together again. A little bit further back for the British fans. Charlie Huntingford running in 14th position, Greg Marshall running in 19th, and the 2 Portuguese riders right in the back of this group. But if you look at this TV picture here, as they come round the Melbourne Loop, the entire 23 riders are all absolutely still together in one big pack. It's a brilliant race, this. We're only on lap number 2. 8 laps to go at the end of this one. Round Goddard's to complete lap number 2, and it looks as though it is the number 18 that has managed to hang on here. Takahira leads. Fastest lap of the race. It's a 1:47.015 by Emanuele Pastore. The poleman, we haven't really spoken about him in this race because he kind of got mired off the start. And there he is. He's now worked his through to the beginning, or rather the leading part of that second group. Pastore, the championship leader, there's another, oh, that's aggressive on the inside, and he almost became a member of the Cremona club there. That was aggressive from Charlie Mendes, the championship leader, and I caught up with him earlier in the weekend, and I did say to him, look, you have a 21-point lead in this World Championship. Are you going to risk it? And he says, I'm not even thinking about the championship, I just want to win. Wasn't sure he was telling the truth. I think we now know he was. That was so aggressive down through Hollywood and the Cremona curves. And again, these two riders, there's a bit of respect. I wouldn't say that they're friends, but they've elbowed each other at least 4 times in the last lap alone, let alone for the first 3. Down the back straight we go again. It'll be a little bit difficult. Ooh, Clark almost on the grass there as well as they come into the braking zone. The Fogarty S's. This is the part of the circuit that was modified back in 2010. It used to be a much more stop-start kind of chicane. Not anymore. You can really carry the speed, which serves up a real treat for us, the fans, coming down into the final 2 corners. This leading group coming back together again, a little bit further back. Keep your eyes on the number 21 and, of course, the number 85, Alessandro Binder. No relation to Brad. Brad Binder, of course, in MotoGP. He is from South Africa. Alessandro Binder from Switzerland. Across the line we go. And I've got to say, fair play to the riders in this one. We have seen some aggressive racing, but everybody still on 2 wheels down into Redgate Corner. Again, this can be a decisive corner in terms of your lap time. New fastest lap, that goes to Charlie Mendes, the championship leader, down to a 1:46.2. Even in these conditions where the track temperature is in around the 32 degrees, they're only 1 second away from the lap record. This is a very, very quick race, this. Again, if you are just joining us on the TV show Around the World, my name is Michael Hill. Absolutely thrilled to be the main speaker for this championship. It's a great series. It was at the season launch in Cremona a couple of months ago. And, oh, a little bit of a lunge there. That was Mottola on his teammate. So no love lost there between Mottola and Binder. And look at that group, still very, very close together. Clark looking on the inside then. On the inside of Clark was Pastore. On the inside of Pastore was Boccanegra. Takamoto, we haven't mentioned him very much either, but Rintaro Takamoto, his first season in this championship, he's now got himself into the top 10, ahead of Indy Schunselaar. Through the Fogarty S's, Mendes, got to say, a real talent. He was very quick last year, made a couple of mistakes, that's all part of the learning curve, but this season, he has been so, so strong. It's not the kind of circuit, I was talking to a couple of the riders yesterday at dinner in the hotel, and they were saying it's not the same kind of circuit as Aragon, as one of the riders goes wide and Marquez doesn't see him. He does now as he gets a massive elbow in the face, and that opens the door, and that is how easy it is to lose positions. And that is Clark, is it? I can't see the number. I think it is Chris Clark. Forgive me if I'm wrong, that he's now gone back up into podium contention. It is Clark as they come across the line. So closely matched are these motorcycles. One little mistake can lose you a handful of positions, and that's been the problem for a couple of the riders. Certainly at the tracks like Motorland, Aragon in particular, which is where we were a couple of weeks ago. There's such a long straight there that the minute you lose the group and you lose the slipstream, you don't have any opportunity. The pace at the front has gone even quicker. 45.8 now by Takahira, 45.9 by Clark. They are the 2 fastest riders on the circuit, and you can see now that they are starting to pull away from the group behind. It is very, very easy, or not very easy, I wouldn't be able to do it, but it's much easier, let's put it that way. As Clark again looks on the inside, you can't pass there, but nobody's told the American that. It's a blind corner. I've raced around Donington many, many years ago, and you cannot see the apex. You've got to have a lot of trust there. And all of a sudden, as we approach the halfway point, Clark and Mendes are trying to stretch the group here, and Clark is going to lead into the Fogarty S's. Slots back into second place. They come through, and back down in towards the hairpin. Clark is going to drop back another position here, does he? Yes, he does. There's a lunge on the inside a little bit further back, and forgive me if I'm not mentioning names left, right and central. I'm just mentioning numbers. It's so, so hard here. The sun just glinting on the riders. The track temperature now up to 33 degrees. It's getting hotter and hotter, and these guys are going faster. And hello, coming through, thank you very much. That was the number 21 of Hinata Okada, who was at the front of the race, got shuffled back to 11, and now finds himself back up into this leading group. Now there's a bit of a lead, though. Mendes looking for win number 3 of the season. We're on to lap number 6. You might not be able to hear them, but I promise you, for those that are listening, there is a big, big crowd here at Donington Park who I'm sure are enjoying everything that is going on here at Donington. Down in towards the old hairpin once again. Brilliant racing here. That is Mottler, I think, now that has come through. The number 77, yes, it is. Up the hill we go again, through Starkeys and McLean's. In towards turn number 7, slipstream. Very, very important. Some very interesting lines there as they come through McLean's. Again, Clark goes to the inside. The 18 of Takehira is now going to have to defend on Marquez, and Marquez clearly learning from what Clark did the previous lap, and he now moves through into second place, out of Coppice Corner, then down the back straight. This is a really good lap from Mendes. Red sector that I can see on my screen in the first 2 sectors. This could be the fastest lap of the race. Charlie Mendes' plan is to try now to pull away. The problem is they've got that straight, and then they're back together again. It was a good effort. Just don't think he's going to be able to make it stick. No, he's not. The gap has come back down to 0.2 of a second. Nice try, Charlie. And no, he's now made a complete mess of it down into turn 1, and they're right back on him again. 4 laps to go at the end of this one. 25 points for the winner of the R3 BLU CRU races at each of the races. Now that group has closed back together again. Round Goddard's we go. 4 laps remaining. Everybody still on both wheels, which is fantastic. It's such a great championship, this. Across the line we go. 45.6 now. In fact, the fastest lap goes to Takehira. Takehira then now sets the fastest lap as that gap comes back down. You just see there the leading 2 riders. It's now Brazil, the Dominican Republic versus Takehira, as now Pastore updates his best lap, and he now sets the fastest lap. The rider that started on pole position. He's been very quiet in this race, has Emanuele Pastore, but he's now got himself up into the top 3. And the leading 6 are now clear. Podium finishers should come from this leading 6. Marquez going through on the inside. Clark also thinking about it. Takehira dropping back a little bit. So we've got the Dominican Republic in this leading group. We've got Italy, we've got the United States of America, and we've got Brazil. So we've got 4 different nationalities in this leading group. Round Coppice Corner, the leading 6 now have 0.6 of a second. The leading 6 are working together. This is great racecraft from this leading 6. As once again, in fact, it's the leading 7, my apologies. Who's that that's joined the party? It is Mottler that has now joined this group. Through the chicane again there, what I was talking about in the paddock during our Superbike warm-up. You go a little bit wide on the exit, and that's going to leave you compromised, and I think Takehira is going to be a bit of a sick hit. Oi, oi, oi! Sideways into turn 1. Not sure who that was. That was one of the white crushed helmets. It was Mendes. Clearly taking no risks here. Oh, and what a shame. That's our first faller, and Mauro Gomez, the Spanish rider, crashes out. Round the final. Oh, that's a bit close to me. I almost fell off the chair on the paddock show stage. As across the line we go then. Marquez in this group, the leading group of 7. They are now 1.1 seconds clear of the battle behind. 3 laps remaining. And so far, got to say, it's been a very respectful race. There's been a little bit of elbows backwards and forwards, a little bit further back in terms of the points. Alessandro Binder, and again, you can't pass there. But these guys seem to be able to. Clark now comes a big lunge on the inside in towards the old hairpin. It is still, I believe, Takehira leading. No, it's not. It's Mendes who cuts back through on the inside. Takehira, you can't pass on the inside here on the left-hand side, or can you? Yes, you can. 5 abreast. Pastore goes through as well. You can't hear it, but I can hear it over my shoulder. There's some winces and oohs and ahs from the fans watching this one. It's getting a little bit tense as Pastore, and oh, you're going to go wide. He's on his way to Derby. The number 18's gone so wide, but he pulls it back to the inside somehow. I can't call this one. I honestly cannot call this one. Any one of the leading 7 deserves to win this race. Down in towards the braking zone again. Hold your breath, and Clark almost gets taken out there as they come through the chicane. Clark, haven't even seen that, but suddenly he's gone from 7th to 4th. 2 laps remaining, and Clark again getting an elbow of the Brazilian. I tell you what, Marquez, he's very, very aggressive. Clark not being intimidated, neither is Germano or Boccanegra or Takamoto, because all this fighting has brought them back together. It's a 22-wheeler. We've got 11 riders now locked together. In towards Goddard and Mendes. How on earth did Mendes make that stick? But somehow he did. Donington Park, I know we're on a live broadcast, but I'm sure people watching want to know, are you enjoying this one? I think that's a unified yes. 2 laps remaining here at Donington Park. It's a 2.5-mile circuit, 12 corners. That's 24 in total. It was when I went to Mass. Mass was never my strong point. We've done a couple of corners now. There's about 22 corners to go to decide the winner of race number 5. And Clark now looks on the inside. Pastore goes around the outside. And Mottler, who was down in 9th place, has now joined this leading group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a 28-wheeler. 14 riders can win this race. Somebody's on the grass coming out of the old hairpin as they now go 3. Ooh. Goodness me, this is crazy. Crazy but brilliant at exactly the same time. Up in towards Coppice we go. Emanuele Pastore is leading. Clark looking on the inside. This is his favourite spot. Oh, what a move from the American. Chris Clark goes through into the lead then with a lap and a half remaining. Down the back straight we go. Look at the corner speed that Clark carried. He's staying over to the right-hand side. He doesn't want to be passed. In towards the braking zone. He should be okay here. Or is he? Hold your breath. There's going to be a lunge from behind, but no, Clark still leads it. He goes a bit wide. He pulls it back to the apex. Mendes now coming on. It's going to be a 1-lap shootout, and I'm not sure I'm going to have a voice for the Superbike race, let alone the 2 Wheels for Life concert that is coming up a little bit later. Clark is going to get past here. There's another lunge further back. That's going to slow some of the slower, or rather midfield riders back there, as the rider in 4th position now gets shuffled back. The 2 white helmeted riders, they are so close together. In towards the braking zone for Goddard for the penultimate time. Clark goes wide, he pulls it back to the inside. They're going to be side by side. Oh, almost on the floor on the stage there. Have to remember that there's only a foot between me and the edge of the stage, as here at Donington Park the crowd are watching this one in anticipation, and Clark takes the lead. Lots of support here for Chris Clark, lots of support also for the 2 Italian riders, and Mendes has brought a whole bunch of people from the Dominican Republic. Down the Cremona curves we go then. This is a great race, absolutely brilliant race, and somehow Clark is still leading. This is, ooh, Marquez gets shuffled onto the green. Clark going defensive. This is a brilliantly defensive last lap. He's going to get overtaken here, but that's all right as far as Clark is concerned. And through on the inside then, once again, goes Charlie Mendes. Clark looking for his first podium of the season. Mendes looking for win number 3. Mottler looking for podium number 2. Binder from nowhere is now up into P7, and again Clark retakes the lead. He likes it there. Now, he's just got to do what he did a lap ago, but the problem is everybody knows what he did. Down the back straight we go. Clark, how late does he leave it? He's leaving it even later. This is very, very dangerous. Down in towards the braking zone. It's a big, big risk. In towards the chicane we go. Clark stays 3rd. Through the chicane we go, and it is... Who's leading? Now I've lost track with the numbers. It's Pastore. Pastore takes the lead. Clark goes to the left-hand side. Mottler's on the inside. Hold your breath. Into the braking zone we go. There's a little bit of fighting further back then. Up the hill we go. Up the hill we go. On the grass goes a couple of the other riders in towards the braking zone for the final time. Clark goes up into 2nd place around the final corner. Clark's going to get his first podium of the season. Over the line we go. Angelo Mottler takes the win. Chris Clark finishes in 2nd place. Pastore in 3rd. It's a BGR Schmerz 1 and 2. What a race that was. And ladies and gentlemen, Donington Park, did you enjoy that? What a way to start the weekend. Let's just get our breath there. That was a brilliant, brilliant race. Let's just check on my timing screen here. And apologies for screaming and going a bit crazy for anybody that's got their headphones in on the other side of the world at 2 o'clock in the morning, but that was absolutely brilliant. The crowd on their feet, and there's a massive crowd here as well. But Angelo Mottler gets his first ever race win. Chris Clark gets his first podium of the season. It's a 1-2 for the Panettone BGR Schmerz team. That team is run by former Grand Prix star and World Superbike star Jakub Kuba Schmerz. And Emanuele Pastore, well, he got a win last time out, and he gets a podium as well. So Charlie Mendes, the World Championship leader, in 6th position. This really closes up the championship. Clark looks relieved. And I'd love to get a heart monitor on some of these young kids, because that was insane racing. Mottola wins then from Clark and Pastore. Marquez, who started on that front row, finished in 4th. Then it was Bocanegra and Mendes. Solid ride from the riders there. The two teammates, oh, look at that. That's what it means to them. Love that, the respect between the two of them. And are they going to try and do burnouts? Oh, they are. They are doing burnouts. Look at this. Absolutely fantastic. And Clark saying, no, you're all right, mate. You're all right. I'm just going to watch you. Gets a face full of the Pirelli tyre smoke from his teammate. Absolutely great stuff. What a way to start the race weekend. And again, I know a lot of people will be watching this around the circuit, and they're here all weekend long. This is the circuit where, of course, it began. Looks like Greg Marshall there has picked up a Union flag as they come through the chicane. Let's give you a rundown then of the final points. A little bit further back then, Charlie Huntingford, for the British fans, picked up another couple of points in 14th place. Schunselaar got some points as well. Rogero Berti in 16th. Hayter Santana, he improved up into 17th place as well. And we are going to get ourselves in position to now listen to those interviews from the winner. There is Pastore, consolidates his position in the World Cup as he comes through the Motul action box. And again, if you are just tuning in for the first time, this is such a great feature of the World Championship. The podium finishers ride through the Motul action box, down through the victory lane. What a feeling that must be for the riders. The only championship in the world where you can get this much access to the riders. So that's 2 podiums in 3 races for Pastore. Great job for him. As we see the celebrations down there. I'm sure Jakub Schmerz will be a very, very happy man. Looks like, yeah, here he comes in. There is Chris Clark on the podium. And nice little story for Chris. His mum comes to a lot of the races, but he's got his older brother, Ethan, who has never watched him race for over 4 years. His grandparents have flown in from the States as well. So this is a really nice, special family moment for Chris, and also for Mottola as well. He's got his old family over from Italy. I'm sure there are going to be some check to look at the celebrations. And look at Jakub Schmerz. Look at Jakub Schmerz down there going absolutely crazy. A 1-2 finish for the team. And what it means for them, absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Of course, they're all Yamaha riders, all on the Yamaha R3s. And, in a few moments' time, and there is, he goes over to his mum. Look at that, his brother down there as well. Love to see that, love to see that. Looks like grandma, I think, on the right-hand side. Jakub Schmerz with the cap there the wrong way round. That's the first 1-2 finish this season for any team. A lot of the teams, of course, run a couple of riders. There's Emanuele Pastore. He goes across to his dad as well. Oh, that is great. So great. What a brilliant race that was. At the end of that, the first 10 riders covered by 1.6 seconds. The podium covered by 0.3 of a second. And, of course, the championship goes on. Here's the classified results then. Mottola, Clark and Pastore ahead of Marquez, Bocanegra and Mendes. A little bit further back then, Takamoto and Okada, the 2 Japanese riders, picking up some points. Charlie Huntingford in 14th place. Betancourt gets the final point ahead of Rogero Berti, and the final 2 finishers. A battle between the Portuguese, Guimarães and Pires. So we're going to have the Italian national anthem. I wonder how many times we'll hear that this weekend as we now move into position ready for the first podium of the weekend. What a brilliant race. Absolutely fantastic. 19 points now is the lead in the World Championship. And when we do get to the podium, it is going to be the one and only Aldi Mahendra, the World Supersport rider for the BLU CRU racing team. He is going to be the one that presents the prizes. There is Clark, and there is Elisabetta, one of the coordinators of the championship. So we wait to hear from the race winner, Angelo Mottola. And then, of course, the riders will come onto the podium. But, ladies and gentlemen, your race winner, Angelo Mottola.
Angelo Mottola. A victory in the first race of the weekend at Donington Park. How was that?
Very, very fantastic race. I'm very, very happy. Finish race in 1 lap. Happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Angelo Mottola just explaining to those watching on TV that he's a very happy young man, and so he should. Here is the replay then. Through this final chicane, Pastore, Mottola, Clark in the mix. They came through the Foggy S's, then over the top of the hill. This is where it could have gone wrong for a couple of the riders. There was a lovely lunge there, sideways from Mottola. Absolutely great motorcycle control from the Italian. And Mottola moves up into 4th place in the championship. There's less than 50 points between the top 8. In fact, only 44 points now covering the leading 8 riders. This championship is going to go all the way to the season finale in Estoril, I believe it is, or Cremona. My apologies. My mind is going so fast with what a great race that was. Fastest lap of that race was Emanuele Pastore. He finished in 3rd position, and the riders now will move from the Parc Fermé, and then you guys will see this unique feature in the World Championship. They're going to walk right through the crowd here, like they do at every race, and these young stars are treated exactly the same as the stars of World Superbike. There's the Italian tricolore around the shoulders of Pastore. 2 Italians and an American on the podium. First podium of the season, as I said, for Chris Clark. 2nd podium for the 2 Italians, and here they come. And what a feeling this will be, and I'm sure that the huge crowd, look at this, they're already getting high fives. It's a very appreciative crowd at Donington Park. It's of course where Superbike began. You can't hear, but there is a lot of applause and a lot of cheering going on down here for these riders. And it is such a good feeling, even as a commentator, just to see this. Other riders also coming through to congratulate the top 3. Brilliant stuff. Also to note there, only 1 failure to finish in that race. That was Mauro Gomez. He is okay, but you can feel the atmosphere starting to build down here in the sunshine as the leading 3 riders make their way through. They're already having a chat about what happened last year, and the entire crowd cheering for them. This is great, absolutely great. As again, I'm not sure if the TV cameras are picking this up, but the noise down here is absolutely electric. The Yamaha R3 Blue Crew World Cup podium. In 3rd place from Italy, ladies and gentlemen, Emanuele Pastore. In 2nd place from the United States of America, Chris Clark. And taking his first win of the season from Italy, Angelo Mottola. Congratulations to the top 3. Great respect, great rivalry, great racing, and dare I say it, great friendship as well. The presentations will be made by the first Indonesian world champion, Aldi Mahendra, and Aldi begins then with the 3rd place trophy, going for the 2nd time on the podium this season to Emanuele Pastore. And now the 2nd place trophy, first podium of the season then, and that goes to America's Chris Clark. And moving into 4th place in the World Cup standings, the 25 Yamaha R3 Blue Crew points, they go to Italy's Angelo Mottola. A 1-2 finish then for the Panettone BGR Schmerz racing team. A very happy Jakub Kuba Schmerz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please, your respect for the national anthem of the winning rider, the national anthem of Italy. Congratulations to the top three. We're going to ask all three riders just to join together on the stage here on the podium for the photograph. Thanks to Aldi, Chris and Emanuele. If you can join together, please, with Angelo. There we go. The top three now are moving together. Look at the crowd down here. What an amazing crowd it is. And I'm sure you're going to see a huge round of applause as they get the official photograph. Fantastic racing. What a result. Mottala, Clark and Emanuele Pastore. They are, of course, the top three in race number 1. And of course, we will be doing it all again tomorrow. Let's have a look then, for those still watching on TV, the classified results. Mottala, Clark and Pastore. Marquez Bocanegra. Championship leader Charlie Mendes in 6th place. Binder picking up 8 points in 8th position. A good day for the BGR Schmerz team. 10th place went to Rintaro Takamoto. Danny Krabacher picked up 4 points. 2 points for Charlie Huntingford, ahead of Bertie Santana and Greg Marshall. And then our final finishers. Nice little battle there between Francisco Perez and Federico Guimarães. What does that do to the championship then? Well, it looks like this. Charlie Mendes leading the championship now on 88 points. Pastore moves into 2nd place. Mottala up to 4th. Clark up to 7th. And Rintaro Takamoto in 9th. All of the other point scorers there. Nathan Betancourt now up to 11 points. Good job from him. Ruggero Berti now up to 10. And as I said, we've had 22 riders scoring points. Charlie Huntingford from Great Britain now on 3, Perez and Marshall on 2. From me, Michael Hill from Donington Park, thanks for watching our broadcast. We're going to do it all again, so we'll see you tomorrow.
But in the end I managed to reach the podium. I'm happy, and I have to say thank you to my team, to my family and my sponsor.